right, well, welcome to Dog Meets World, K-9 Community Engagement. This is where you're going to be able to get some ideas for getting your dog out in the community, different ways to use them, hopefully get some ideas flowing, as well as some social media ideas. I am by no means an expert in all of this. There is no one-size-fits-all answer, and our way is not the only way. That said, hopefully this, like I said, gets some ideas moving and can give you a better understanding about what we're talking about with this corner of the world. So real quick on my background, I started off my career as a volunteer firefighter like many firefighters do. Went career for a while. I've worked as an assistant fire marshal. I've worked as an inspector and investigator, a lot of time in that. And in 2020, I actually took on the job as a dog chauffeur, driving Miss Cat around. Back in New Hampshire, I worked, got my training in critical incident stress management, and I went through that training again in North Carolina, so we've got peer support train, one-to-one and group training. But honestly, when I took this gig as a handler, it was because somebody said I was going to get to have a dog with me at work every day. I mean, who wouldn't want that? It was very much just diving in and just seeing what it brought, and honestly, no joke, it is the best job I've ever had. And I'll talk about that a little bit more as we go through this. Same idea, just her background. I call it her curriculum vitae. Miss Cat is an English cream golden retriever. She's got her American Kennel Club K-9 Good Citizen, Advanced K-9, and then she's also certified as a therapy dog through K-9 Caring Angels. In 2020, she won the Pet in the City photo contest, which won us a year's supply of food, which then turned into Food for Us long term. I will talk just a little bit about fundraising opportunities and things like that for folks that aren't sure how they could fund their program. We're going to stick mostly with social media, but because we won that through social media, we'll talk about that just a little bit. In 2020, we also won the Aftermath K-9 grant. It was a grand prize of $5,000. It was the first and only time so far that a non-police unit won that award. So I love to tell people about that the fire department beat out everybody. The most common question that we get with her is, why did you name your dog Cat? And my standard response is, you know, she's never actually said a word about it. She never complained. That said, her actual name is Lady Catherine, or Lady K. She's named after a volunteer that worked with Caring Angels who was very, very important to them. So she carries two very important names on her vest all the time. Of course, Lady Catherine, and she also has the name of the Charlotte Fire Department. And that is really, really important as we start talking, especially about social media. When you're out there, you're representing these names. So for us, there's two names, our department and then Catherine, and we want to make sure that we're always doing a good job in honoring both of them. Keep that in mind when you start putting things on the internet. You need to be accountable to your department and to your stakeholders. So a quick snapshot of our department. Charlotte Fire Department currently has 43, soon to be 45 stations. We've got about 1,200 employees. Our population, they're estimating around 892,000. Our daytime population, we know in the Charlotte metro area, is far beyond that. 320 square miles, and last year we had a budget of $190 million.
Charlotte Fire Department is comprised of 43 fire stations with 1,200 employees. 1,100 of those employees are uniformed firefighters. Charlotte Fire Department protects 300 square miles with 870,000 residents. CFD has implemented the Therapy K-9 program for use in first responder wellness and educational programs and will incorporate specially trained K-9s to work with the department personnel. The goal of the wellness program is to try to reduce stress, lower blood pressure, and improve the overall well-being of individuals working within the fire department programs. Additional goals are to increase social media followings and participation, boost overall community engagement, and enhance educational programs. Our K-9 program relies on the support from individuals and businesses within the community through the donations, fundraisers, grants, and by utilizing memorandums of understanding with local businesses in order to cover K-9 program and member expenses. A typical day for Cat consists of training, interacting with members of the public, interacting with firefighters in the fire station, and she will be attending visits to third grade classrooms in support of our fire and life safety curriculum. The future of the program is bright. As the program grows, the future K-9s will have specific paths they will follow. We will have therapy K-9s that specialize in community engagement, as well as having specific K-9s that will specialize in behavioral well-being throughout Charlotte Fire Department. Should Charlotte Fire Department be awarded this grant, the funds would be used to expand the program as well as provide funding for medical care and supplies for Cat's well-being.
So as you may have caught from Chief Westover's description there, the Charlotte Fire Department actually contributes zero money to this program. Between these two photos here, May 2020 and now, the department has contributed $0. And that's not because the Charlotte Fire Department doesn't value peer support or anything like that. It's because we never asked them. This program came into fruition right as COVID was starting, right as we knew that our overtime budget was going to go through the roof and that there just wasn't going to be the money for it. But we kind of had a dream and a plan to figure out how we were going to fund it through donations, and that's exactly what we've done. Every bit of this program, from the dogs to their health care to their food, is all funded through donations. We were able to get out and find, first we won that photo contest where she got food for a year, and then after that we were able to go to that food representative and ask them if they were interested in continuing to sponsor us, just like that. And all we had to do was put some stuff out on our social media and say, you know, hey, these guys are sponsoring us, and they've continued to do that. They've continued to do that even through our second dog that we have. So that is the dog squad there. You're looking at both Phoenix, our second dog, and Cat. Of course, Cat, like I said, we got in May of 2020, and then Phoenix we actually took in September of 2021. Phoenix works out of Station 27 on B shift. She works with a firefighter, so she comes to work with him, she goes home with him. Very, very cool. One of the neat things that Caring Angels was able to train Phoenix to do was that when our house tones drop, when her handler has to go on an emergency call, Phoenix goes to her crate, she stays there. So we know she's safe, she's not tempted to get into anything, we don't have to worry about her being in the way when trucks are backing in or going out or anything like that. Very cool thing that they were able to do with that. So that's us. That's the Charlotte Fire Department's K-9 program at a glance. So now our first question. Where do we start? Well, as I was putting this program together, I started thinking about it, and I think that a lot of times dogs have the best life out there because they live by a few simple rules. So this is the rules to a dog's life as observed by the dog chauffeur. So the first thing you need is support from leadership. Please, please, please do not attempt to start a K-9 program of any kind without being completely sure that you have the support of your department leadership. It's not fair to you, and it's especially not fair to your K-9 that's going to get caught up in all of it. You need to know right out of the gate that you have that support. Get that first, then start working on the rest of it. Have some idea what your program structure is and who's responsible for it. Know ahead of time who makes decisions for the dog. Dogs thrive on a little organization. Your program will too. So we'll start first with community engagement, and then we'll go to social media. Think of community engagement as the old school version of social media where you actually talk to people with your mouth. This is where the rubber meets the road in your community, okay? This is where knowing what's going on in your community, getting out there, meeting up with people. If you have responsibility for safety messaging, this is where the magic happens, okay? Whether your uniform is red, blue, green, or whatever, when you have a dog, people want to come over and they want to talk to you, people that wouldn't normally talk to you. And first they want to know about your dog, and then they want to show you pictures of their dog. And with a little verbal jiu-jitsu, now you're talking about, in our case, home fire safety or home escape planning or things like that, what they can do to keep their pets safe. In general, if people are concerned with keeping their animals safe, they're a little safer too. So there's a double-sided win on that. So for us, in our area, there's always something going on. We've been so blessed to be a part of so many great things. The biggest thing for us right out of the gate was schools. CFD education teaches every third grade class in the county. That's 600 plus third grade classrooms that they teach every year. And then they'll go into any private school that'll have us. Getting permission to bring Kat into most of those was a lot of work. Remember, she's a therapy dog. She's not a service dog, so she doesn't have access rights. We got into the majority of our schools just by asking and letting them know that she's still a certified therapy dog. We explain the difference between the two, and let them know. Obviously, the thing everybody's concerned about is liability. I say, well, she's been trained not to bite. Our firefighters haven't. So we were able to get her in. We integrated her into our programs. Again, these 600 plus classes. She's able to feel a door for heat. She's able to crawl low under smoke. She's able to demonstrate going to a meeting place and waiting there. And of course, though, in reality, we don't have a whole lot of people that have a specific need for stop, drop, and roll. She can do that too, and that's always a crowd pleaser. We've been able to utilize her at our department summer camps. She's done an impressive amount of live TV, which you would think would be scarier than it actually is. She's usually really, really good with that. She's visited first responders outside of the Charlotte area. Some of the photos we've got here, we've got our youth camps, we've got some of the media stuff we've done. You've got a photo there of her actually visiting another comm center during comms week. We went and did lunch for another county, actually. And then through our relationship with the schools, we had a young man with autism whose family opened up a pet bakery. And so we went to their grand opening. We were invited. We were kind of their guest of honor. And there you see her showing off some of his product there. It was very, very cool to be a part of. So again, just a quick word of caution. If you're operating as a therapy dog team, remember you're not covered by the ADA. You don't have those access rights, and you need to be diligent about getting permission for your partner to be in any place that doesn't typically permit dogs. Make sure you're not violating any local state or health ordinances. Again, you and your partner are always representing your organization, as well as all therapy dogs everywhere. So make us all proud, okay? As a rule, I tend to avoid events that are specifically dog events. Initially, when we first got her, I thought that, we're going to hit every single one of those. Charlotte's a very, very dog-friendly city. But we started finding that not every dog behaves like she does. And that got a little scary a couple times. So I'm a lot more choosy about which dog events I will bring her to, just because I want to make sure that we're keeping her safe and maintaining her temperament and her personality that we've put so much work into. So rule number 2, in dog we trust. Trust your dog, okay? Your dog is typically more in tune with the world around them than you could ever dream of. Learn their cues, know when they're onto something. Your dog may know when a situation is about to go sideways with a member of the public or another animal. Your dog may also know when someone needs them. I use this photo here. We were out at the state fair, and she was just doing meet and greets with the public. She was doing a great job. She's paying attention for the most part. But she's focused on this one individual kind of sitting across from us, and he'd been sitting there for a while. And so finally I took just a minor leap of faith, and we went over and we talked to this gentleman. We found out he was an off-duty fire lieutenant. We found out he just had a really tough call a few days ago that he was having a hard time processing. And right then and there, we ended up just doing a little pet therapy with him for about 45 minutes. Just letting him love on her, and just because she could sense that he needed her. It was able to help him decompress a little bit about stuff that he didn't feel comfortable talking to his family about, and it ultimately was just a great story, one of many that you're going to get when you have one of these dogs if you trust your dog. So rule number 2, trust your dog. All right, so now we're going to start talking more about social media stuff and marketing your program. You really need to define your mission. For us, we had 2 goals. We wanted to market the dogs in the community and on social media to draw sponsors. Again, this is a program that is reliant on fundraising. It's not reliant on the department to fund it. We have to have these revenue sources coming in. So part of how we do that is just by extending our brand, if you will, getting them out there and letting people know what these dogs do, where they're going to be at, things like that. And of course, the second goal, now that we have this kind of wide net that we can cast to, is we're able to get out a lot of fire and life safety information to the greater community. So pick your platform. There's no shortage of different social media venues out there. For us, we kept it very, very simple, partly because I was the one that had to learn how to use them, so there was 2 that were easy enough for me to learn. Consistency is key. If you're going to be on 10 different platforms, you better be consistently on 10 different platforms. It's a great way to be able to reach out, tie in with other people doing similar things. A little cooperation, partnerships goes a long way. You do have to find your online voice, okay? That really helps. That's kind of the personality of your department. Make sure your department leadership is on board with that. For us, it's kind of this jokey lightheartedness, but even with that, sometimes it's not uncommon to get told, "Hey, you got to take that post down." Do the best you can. Have your department leadership on board with what you're doing, and make sure you're posting the right content. You can get this huge following, but if you start posting things that aren't relevant to what you're doing, you're going to find that people are unsubscribing. So for us, we chose to use Facebook and Instagram, again, because I was the one that had to use them and learn how to work with them. Facebook is really good for engaging with people back and forth. I know that's still kind of looked at as the older generation social media. It is and it's not. There's still plenty of younger people on there. The bulk of our population that is responsible for fires in the United States is on Facebook, so that's a really good way to engage with them. And there's a lot of room back and forth for an actual conversation where you can post, they can respond, they can post pictures. If you want to get a conversation going, you tell people to post pictures of their dogs. That's going to get it going for a while. A lot of interaction off something like that. Generally, it's very friendly to photos, videos, texts, anything like that. The paid ads option on it, I've used that a few times. It actually really does boost your messaging out if that's something that you have the revenue for and the inclination to use. Instagram is a little more visually oriented. Instagram's not good for text. If you have something that you want to say, if you have a message that you're trying to get out, you need to find a way to convert that into the photos that you're sharing or the videos that you're sharing. Don't type a novel on Instagram. Instagram is definitely better suited for one-way communication. You're going to have a harder time getting that back and forth interaction on that. It's just the personality of that platform, right? Their hashtag use is really, really cool on that. We're going to talk about hashtags in just a second, but we'll talk about hashtags right now. So hashtags have a purpose. You're able to track with them, and they're able to bring your content to users. So first things first is you want to make sure that if you're using hashtags, you're using the appropriate ones. The first time you create a hashtag, now you're able to search for that. So for her, anything with cat in it has the hashtag firedogcat. Now, at the end of her career, when we call it a day, I can go into either of these two platforms and I can search that in the search bar, and it's going to bring up every occurrence of that. So I have an online photo album on both of these venues where I can see everything that we did with her through her whole career. It's very cool that way. Other things that you can do with hashtags is other people are tracking hashtags. So, for instance, National Dog Day. When it's National Dog Day and you take these adorable pictures of your dog and you put that out there maybe next to the fire rig or next to your cruiser or however you're using your dog, you put that hashtag on there. Now when other people are searching for these hashtags, and it could be news outlets or things like that, they're able to see that too. These are bringing up your content into other people's feeds. So again, find the ones that are specific to what you're doing. The hashtag of love has been used over 30 million times. That may not be specific to what you're looking for. Something like hashtag therapy dog may be a little more on the nose for what you want. In general, as you're trying to grow your following, if you're posting pictures of cute dogs, expect your following is going to grow to some extent organically. So some original content here to save lives. I'm really sorry about that. That was the wrong video. I don't know how that got in there. But that brings me to rule number 3. Shake it off. Dog people are a little bit crazy. It's okay to make mistakes. Not everyone's going to do things the way that you will. Again, make sure that your leadership has your back. It's okay to have fun, by the way. If you operate a dog long enough, you're going to come across someone that disagrees with how you're doing it, and that's fine. People get very, very passionate about animals. That's fine. That's good too, okay? But that's why it's important to have your department leadership on board so that they know the training, they have confidence in what you're doing with your animal, and will at least talk to you when an issue comes up before things get spiraled out of control. Don't be a stranger to your trainer. Caring Angels has your back. Don't be afraid to communicate issues with them. And speaking very much from experience here, shake it off. Again, you're a dog driver for a 4-legged angel. Don't get distracted from the mission. So, original content to save lives, take 2. So this was a video we did for home escape planning. A little secret from someone who's been in the trenches of safety education. There's a lot of people who care more about their pets than themselves. So we incorporated pet safety into this simple message. You can apply this to just about anything out there, from kitchen safety, boating, swimming, traffic, travel messaging. This was great here, her going backwards down the stairs. Everybody said, "How did you do that?" Well, I hit reverse on the video. We did not make her walk backwards down the stairs. Generally speaking, if you can get people talking or thinking about pet safety, again, they tend to be safer themselves just because they're thinking about it. They're putting a little effort into it. So easy a dog can do it, right? Every production that we've done like this has been done with an iPhone and iMovie. Those are free programs on Apple products. There's equivalent out there on the PC if that's the equipment that you have to use. But we were able to do this all with department-provided equipment. So don't let the technology frighten you away. We're self-taught on all that. It probably shows in what we do. Again, on the marketing and product branding, the sky's the limit. But if you do the work, if you have something made, put your name on it. You can see here our first trading cards that we did. We've got a nice fancy QR code that actually takes people to our website, and then it's a short hop, skip, and a jump over to where they can donate to our program and help us continue on. We did brand our tennis ball. The word of caution here, I use that picture to show you and then tell you, do as I say, not as I do. Every department that has a dog ends up getting a tennis ball for handouts. Don't do that. They're cheap. They're not good toys for dogs. That's my PSA. Learn from our experience. Save your money. Find something else, okay? If you're going to buy tennis balls, make sure you're giving them to kids or to folks that want to use it for physical therapy or something like that. Tennis balls, not for dogs. Right in the middle of my presentation. Drop. Good girl. All right, rule number 4 of a dog's life. Find a pack, right? You're going to need some support in doing all of this. There's no reason for you to try to do all of this on your own. Again, Caring Angels is your first stop. Your trainers. Do not be a stranger to your trainers. If you need some fellowship with other trainers just to see what they're doing, the things that they're working on, to get ideas from. At Dog Network on Facebook is a spot where you can go for that. Again, they're handlers, they're not trainers, so you should not be going to them for your training ideas. There's different social media for other types of first responder dogs out there. You know, use it wisely. Again, you want to have people that have your back, people that you can reach out to when you have questions. When you're having that meltdown, it's very, very helpful to have that, right? We had a very, very successful first year with our program, and right out of the gate, I started getting questioned by some of our upper management, even outside of my chain, to show the value in our program. And at first, I was kind of furious about it. I'm like, I don't understand why they're asking for this. We've done so well. What's the problem? And I reached out to another handler who has been there before, and he kind of got me to calm down a little bit and said, listen, this is normal. You're always going to have to show the value of your program. It was very, very helpful to have somebody like that you can call. So definitely be reaching out to other handlers as well, people that are going through what you're going through. Rule number 5, live in the moment. Dogs live in the moment. You should too, okay? Enjoy this. It's not always easy. It's not always a lot of work, but it's at least always consistently work, right? Training is every day for you and for your partner. Take the time, enjoy the ride. If someone had told me 5 years ago that I'd be off the fire truck, having the time of my life, driving a dog around, I would have said they were crazy. But the work is good, and it's the best job I've ever had. So in closing, I'm going to share one more story with you guys. This is Calvin. He's one of Kat's favorite people. She would run to his office every day to see him in the morning. He's one of our, he's retired now, but he was one of our senior inspectors. She would go to his office every single day to greet him, and this is one of those photos from there. He had this smile on his face every day as he loved on her like that. And every single day he would say the same thing. That just made my day. In late 2020, Calvin got COVID pretty bad. He was not expected to survive. He was in the hospital for a long time. And every day, this dog still goes to his door, still looking for him. not understanding why she doesn't get to see him. His doctors underestimated him. He survived after a lengthy recovery. In his first day home from the hospital, as he sat outside enjoying some fresh air in the backyard, the look on his face as he sees this little dog coming through the gate to visit him, the way he lit up, that will stay with me for the rest of my life. He was so happy to see her. And that's just one story on an ever-growing list of the great things that we've gotten to do with these dogs. You can get them out there on social media. You can get them out there in the public. You can do great things with them. And that's my presentation. If there's anything else that I can do for you, please feel free to reach out. Thank you.